If you know TeckWrap Color Change film, you know how it stretches, how it responds to heat, and you know how to read the material. Yet, what you've been working with up until now is TeckWrap's PVC color change film. Now you switch to their new TeckWrap Color Paint Protection film, and suddenly nothing works the way it should. In the first video of this series, we covered the material differences and how to control the adhesive. Now we're getting into technique. How to install this film on large panels and get top quality results. The installation technique with colored paint protection film from TeckWrap comes down to one thing: tension control. You already know the surface has to be perfect, clean, smooth, no contamination, and paint protection film that has a glossy finish shows everything. But once that's handled, the installation itself becomes predictable. Let's work through a full Fender. First, the cap sheet comes off. The little water misted in the air and onto the cap sheet reduces static and makes the handling easier. If you're pre-cutting on a table, remove the cap sheet there. Either way works. Now, the TeckWrap Color Paint Protection film goes onto the front fender. Make sure you have enough material on all sides, and if you have excess, make sure you remove it with the liner on and save it to be used for later or to practice for new employees. Now remove the entire liner. The film is fully laid out, but you can still reposition it, retension, and adjust. Nothing is locked in yet. Now, with the material evenly spread out, it's time to set a permanent hinge. Pick one spot, and generally on a front fender, it's the middle body line. Lightly squeegee it down, then add a little bit of heat. This activates the adhesive and holds it firmly in place. With the permanent hinge set, now it's time to glass the film out on all the sides. So from this permanent hinge, stretch the film without heat. Keep the film at room temperature as long as possible. That's the goal. Pull in the direction of the wrinkles. Lay the film gently down on the surface, then squeegee cleanly and uniformly. Once this section of the front fender is done, move on to the next section. Think of the front fender in sections. Work each one individually, but always keep the overall tension in mind. You're not just installing pieces, you're managing one continuous surface. Here's a key move. Direct new tension towards the outer edge of the front fender and make sure to spread it out evenly. Avoid allowing the film to bunch up in one area. Also, keep in mind that instead of using heat to spread the film out on the surface, making small relief cuts is key. Small relief cuts help the film lay flat with minimal tension. Use them early, especially around complex curves, and this will also help avoid adhesive lines. Doing this specifically around the headlight is a good idea, as a lot of tension can develop here. Fit the film up to a specified defined point, so you're not building stress that causes problems later. Now, let's talk about what happens when bubbles show up. If you try to push out a large bubble with just finger pressure, not much happens. The air moves around, but doesn't spread out. With a squeegee, it's a different story. A fast, firm squeegee stroke pushes the air out quickly and cleanly. The low initial tack keeps the film movable so the air escapes without getting trapped. If bubbles persist or adhesive lines start to form, gently lift the film in that area, let it relax, then relay the material. And keep in mind, a bubble is not a defect, it's information. It tells you the sequence was wrong or the squeegee strokes weren't uniform enough. Reset and continue. And now that we've done the front fender, let's scale up to a big hood. Lots of surface area, lots of potential for tension problems. First, raise the hood slightly. The spacer between the hood, front fenders, and front bumper gives you clearance to ensure high workflow and manage tension. And here's a quick tip. For remove the cap sheet on large pieces, 2 pieces of masking tape. One of the cap sheet and one of the film. Fold them apart and the cap sheet releases in a controlled way. Now, remove the liner and anchor the film at the top near the windshield. This is your reference point for the entire hood. The center of the hood is the most critical area. This is where precision matters most. Tension the film carefully on the main surface and squeegee it down. Now, think of the hood as a grid. Work each section, always aware of how tension in one area affects others. If small bubbles appear, the same rule as shown on the front fender applies. A quick, firm squeegee stroke pushes them out. The low initial tack allows the air to escape cleanly. Now let's focus on the recess areas. Don't stretch directly over them and push into them. This can cause tension in the TPU, which will create adhesive lines and possibly lifting after the install is complete. Instead, feed the material in from the sides and fit it gradually. The deep recessed areas fill in without creating tension that ensures quality and long-term hold. Now, let's continue to talk about deep recessed areas, so let's move on to door handles. Watch what happens when you push the film in cold. It goes in and pops out right away. TPU builds strong counter tension when stretched, and without heat to activate the adhesive, it won't hold the cup. Here's the correct method. Heat the film in the air with the heat gun setting on medium, then keep the edges free so the air can escape. As heating, watch the film, and as it visibly relaxes and the wrinkles disappear, that's your moment. Now lay it into the recessed area while pressing the upper area down. As it touches the surface, because it's warm, the adhesive is activated and the material tension is held evenly on the surface. The film settles in and stays. So as you can clearly see, cold application doesn't work for deep recessed areas. Heat in the air first, then lay in, that's the rule. So that's the large panel technique for using TeckWrap Color Paint Protection Film. We hope it gives you a better understanding of how to work on large areas, deal with bubbles, and how to approach a variety of different types of recessed areas. In the final video of this series, we're covering edges, overlaps, and finishing. How to make sure everything you just installed actually stays perfectly for the long term. Thanks for watching this technical video on TeckWrap's Color Paint Protection Film, and it was created by the Wrap Institute.